Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to A World of Tanks. You're looking here at the special 100th anniversary of Tanks Special Garage that World of Tanks has got. So as you can see back here, you've got the modern day sort of countryside, most likely in France, with telegraph poles, these big with loads of power lines and things. You've got a memorial there. You also have some various caliber sized guns. Not too sure what guns these are because they don't say. But then as we slowly pan around, we enter the battlefields of France and the Battle of the Somme, because the reason for this garage is that, the Battle of the Somme is still raging at this point. It's still September right now for me. At the time of recording this, it's about mid-September, so the Battle of the Somme is, I'm fairly certain, still raging on. And also, 1916 was the first tanks at the Battle of Cambrai. And so they've added in a new game mode which incorporates this thing, the Mark I tank. First tank to use in combat, the Mark I was developed and manufactured in the UK in 1916. Vehicle saw service in autumn the same year. It was used by the British Army against German troops in the Battle of the Somme, France, on September the 15th, 1916. And today is September the 17th, so the tanks have been in action for 2 days now. And this is the first incantation of the Mark I tank. As you can see, the Mark I tank has got these two side sponsons, each mounting naval 6-pounder guns, which are these things. Being the Mark I, they still have the long barrel. They eventually shortened these barrels by about half because the long barrels kept getting stuck in the mud and getting stuck in trenches, and they just generally caught on bits and pieces around the battlefield like trees and things, which meant that the long 6-pounder barrels weren't exactly ideal for the battles of the Somme and the battlefields of France in World War I. As you can see, it's full of mud and just sloping and shell craters everywhere, which meant that these long barrels were a nightmare. So they eventually just cut them down to give the tank slightly better maneuverability, because the guns didn't keep getting stuck in trenches and whatnot. As for this sort of grating at the top here, this is so that German grenade teams can't throw grenades onto the top of the tank here, and the explosion wouldn't bring shrapnel down into the tank and knock out the crew that way. So these things were there so that any grenade teams that tried to throw a grenade, the grenade would hit that and bounce off. The rear wheels here, those were designed for guiding the tank. So the wheels were supposed to help the tank move better to increase the maneuverability, but what ended up happening is that the wheels got easily clogged with mud. They would just seize up because of the mud and the wet, and they just became a huge liability and really more of a handicap to the tank than actually helping. So in the later versions they got rid of the wheels. It's a very nice model, I do have to say. I would like to be driving it, but unfortunately you don't get to drive Mark I tanks and A7Vs, unfortunately. But here you've got side sponsons, projections on the side of British World War I tanks used for mounting and protecting the primary weapon of the vehicle. These modules were conceived because of the need to lower the tank's centre of mass. So instead of having a big turret up the top here, they had side sponsons on the side, which meant that you've got two guns, which means that you can directly attack people who are at a 90-degree angle from you, or even further perhaps. Yeah, I think you can actually hit them further. You can hit them like down there or something. And then later versions also had machine guns in the side here to get rid of side attacking enemy infantry. So you then got the Mark I. The suspension comprised of 26 road wheels firmly attached in the hull. Additionally, the vehicle had a so-called tail with two large diameter wheels used for turning as well as traversing trenches, but like I said, they kept on getting jammed up with mud and things, so they weren't really useful. So the engine that they used was the Daimler Foster 6-cylinder. The 105 HP 6-cylinder engine was water-cooled, originally manufactured for tractors by the Daimler company. It was later used for the first British tank prototypes, the Little Willie and Mother, as well as being widely manufactured Mark I vehicles. So that was in here. There's the exhaust. Where is the exhaust? No, the exhaust is here, I think. Yeah, that's possibly the exhaust. I thought the exhaust was at the top, but maybe that's a later incantation of the Mark 1, probably the Mark 4 or something. But the engine was really noisy, which means that in the British tanks, it was noisy, it was really hot. You know, you had cracking and just a huge amount of noise in the tank, which meant that tank crews would often, become deaf. Also, it was full of fumes and smoke, which meant that it was really difficult to see out, which meant that the crew couldn't actually talk to each other. They had to use a series of hand signals, which they developed, in order to actually tell people where to go, because there wasn't an intercom system, there wasn't noise cancellation or anything like that, there wasn't a silencer, or if there was, it was a very poor silencer. The crew could barely see out of their metal masks that they wore in order to stop shells, because when the Germans realised that they could actually shoot through the viewports and headshot people through the viewports, the British started wearing thick leather shields across their eyes, which had slits across the eye holes that were cut in the thing, which meant that it was difficult for them to see out of it. Which meant that also added to the dampness and dinginess of the dark interior of the tank. Then, of course, communication. To establish communication between vehicles, signal flags, lamps and carrier pigeons were also considered. The use of telephone lines was also planned, but communication through messengers provided to be most reliable despite being extremely dangerous, which meant that you don't have a radio. You have signal flags, messengers. You don't actually have any sort of direct radio communication to other people. You have to sort of rely on your commander to understand what to go. Oh, I didn't realise the cat down there. Oh, it's a kitty cat. Oh, it's a kitty cat. Anyway, so there you go, the Quickfire 6-pounder, 8 something or other. I'm not too sure what the CWT stands for. A 57mm naval gun with a barrel length of 40 calibers. Okay, this naval gun was used as the primary weapon on the male variants of the Mark 1 to 3. It was later replaced by a specially designed gun with a barrel length of 23 calibers. So yeah, like I said, specially designed, they cut down the length of the barrel. And yes, this is the male incantation of the Mark 1. There was also a female version of the British tanks which had 4 machine guns instead of 2 6-pounders. So it would have a machine gun here and a machine gun here, and it had a different designed side sponson, which instead of cutting off to a door here, it would actually slope back again like this. So it would sort of round off like this over the other side, and you would have another one of these, but with a machine gun in it. So you'd have a machine gun here, and then over the other side again, machine gun here. So that was more for taking out enemy machine guns and things, and taking out enemy infantry. So yeah, that's the Mark 1, and in order to celebrate the first tanks, they've got a special battle type, which is convoy. You can't actually select it here, but if you select the Lanchester Armoured Car, which I will go over, if you select the Lanchester, then you will have, then you'll go into a special game mode called Convoy, where you actually have to either defend the Mark 1 or you have to destroy it. And that's a fun little game mode, considering the fact that we've now got the first wheeled vehicles in the shape of the Lanchester Armoured Car over there. But let's have a look at what this kitty has to say, because, yeah. There you go, Percy the World War I tank cat. Percy was the mascot of the Mark I Daphne tank crew and belonged to Lieutenant Harry Drader. On September the 15th, Percy was with Harry in the battle, and family history recounts that every time the tank went into battle, the cat was by the crew side. Both of them survived and lived happily ever after somewhere near London. So, there you are. Oh, it's a little kitty. Oh, it's so cute. But so there's the Mark 1 blueprint sort of things. And you've got the crew. The vehicle's crew was definitely having a bad time. The temperature in the fighting compartment could reach 50 degrees. Orders and reports drowned in the roar of the engine. Like I said, the Mark 1 crew comprised of 8 people, commander, driver, 2 assistance drivers, 2 loaders and 2 gunners. So obviously the loader and the gunner would be in the side sponsons. You'd have the commander and the driver right there. Then the 2 assistant drivers would actually be inside the tank working the engine, because you had to have a separate gear system for each track, which meant that one gear system went, the whole side of the tank would seize up, because you don't have gearing on one side of the tank, so you would just sort of slowly go around in circles. Bearing in mind that the Mark 1 could only get up to 4 miles an hour, which was not impressive at all. You think the TOG is slow, the TOG is over double the speed of a Mark 1, so yeah. But yeah, so it wasn't fun for World War One tank crews, as you can expect. But there's the Mark 1. You got various things around. I don't know if there's anything else that we can hover over here. Ah no, there's a thing. Battle of the Somme, there we go. Battle of the Somme was one of the greatest battles of World War One, fought by the British Empire and France against the German Empire. It took place between the 1st of July and 18th of November, there you go. So right now for me, I'm in the height of the Somme, being September. On both sides, between July the 1st and 18th of November on 1916, on both sides of the River Somme in France. The battle was notable for the first mass use of the tank, which started a new chapter in warfare. Due to incoordination, the Allies took huge casualties and only penetrated 420 square kilometres into German-occupied territory. However, the Allies understood the strategic advantage they had in the tank. So the Somme was the bloodiest battle of World War One, with something like 24,000 Allied troops falling on the first day. It could be even more than that, I'm not too sure, but yeah, so that wasn't fun for them. As you can see there, that looks like it could be an albatross or something. That's an albatross going down in flames there, so that is also most likely an albatross going down there. You've got wrecked Mark 1s, you've got wrecked Lanchesters, you've just got things on fire. It's the Somme, people are dying at left, right and centre, and this is the car that you will be participating in the special battles. So you do get a special crew, a special World War One crew, which have got special World War One, icons, as you can see. These are indeed special World War One icons, and what you can actually do is you can send one of your crew members to barracks, as you can see, and if I just go to something like a Mark 6 Light 6C, you can actually replace them. You can actually replace a crew of a tank with this British crew. I don't think you can do it in the Panzer II. No, you can't. You can only do it in British tanks, obviously. Makes sense. But yeah, so you can actually replace these crew members into another tank, so long as it's British, and it's got at least 4 crew slots. Well, so long as it's got a maximum of 4 crew slots. But so before I go over the Lanchester Armoured Car here, I'm just going to show you the special missions here. So, as you can see, here's the convoy game mode, and these are special things that you can do. So you've got Bomberman, which is to blow at least one track off of the Mark 1 using a bomb, which you have to pick up, and you get a special ribbon here. Bomberman, blow a track off the Mark 1 using a bomb. So I've received that award once, because, and it's number of mission completions unlimited. Then you've got Bomberman Part 1, which is to win the battle, your team must blow at least one track off the Mark 1 using a bomb and cause damage to at least one enemy Lanchester, and do not destroy any friendly Lanchesters. So you get 15,000 credits there, and you obviously all these requirements require you to be in a Lanchester. Then you've got Bomberman Part 2, your team must blow at least one track off the Mark 1 using a bomb, cause damage to at least one enemy Lanchester, and do not destroy any allied Lanchesters, and you get 750 XP, and you can get this fairly easily in one match, because, well, as you'll see by these field repair missions, you get exactly the same rewards from these things, but it's for the defending team. So once you've completed Bomberman Part 1, then you can get to Bomberman Part 3, which you have to complete Bomberman 10 times, and then you'll get personal reserves, and that's it. So yeah, but as you can see, total 8. I'm not too sure what that means, but I'm guessing I might be close to that. I don't know. But if you're on the defending team, where you have to defend the base, that's for the defending team, because in the special game mode, one team is defending the Mark 1 as it trundles its way to the enemy base, and the other team is defending the base, and they have to pick up and they have to collect the bomb pickup in order to plant it on the Mark 1 to blow off the track. And each bomb does a fifth of the Mark 1's health, so you have to plant 5 bombs and then the Mark 1 will be destroyed. Alternatively, you can blow off the tracks of the Mark 1 and delay the enemy team from picking up the field repair pickup, which will repair the tracks of the Mark 1 to allow it to trundle again, and then the bomb will respawn somewhere, and then the enemy team have to keep doing that. And the mission fails if you're defending the base when the Mark 1 gets into the base. And then you win, of course, if you're defending the Mark 1 by the Mark 1 getting into their base. Although there is another way of winning, which is to let the time run out, which I don't know whether that's actually... I think I may have lost once by that, because we just weren't able to get to the base in time. But so field repair is the alternative to Bomberman, and you've got to repair at least one track of the Mark 1, and you get the field repair ribbon, which is this thing. Then you've got field repair Mark 2, which is to win the battle. Your team must repair at least one track of the Mark 1, cause damage to at least one enemy Lanchester, and do not destroy any allied ones. So you've got 15,000 credits there, and then mission available field repair Mark 3. But then you've also got field repair Mark 2, repair at least one track, cause damage to at least one enemy Lanchester, and do not destroy any allied ones. So that gives you 750 XP. Then you've got field repair Mark 3, which is to repair field repair, which is to complete field repair part 1 10 times, and then you get personal reserves. So then what you've got is base protector, which is to win the battle. Win a battle during the convoy event by keeping the friendly base secured, and you get the reward base protector, which you can only get one time, as you can see. So I've got the special diamond thing, because every time there's a special event like this, I always try and get all the special diamonds and ribbons and things. Then you've got honor guard, which is to win the battle during the convoy event by helping the Mark 1 successfully capture the enemy base. And then we've now got the T-44-100 missions, so yeah. But so that's all of the special things for the convoy event. And then by completing those things, you can actually get special exterior and interior things. So as you can see, you can actually put on special... You can actually win these special inscriptions. Well, you can't win them, but you can purchase them with gold, as you can see. So you've got Mark 1, you've got Now is the Time, you've got Fear Naught, and you've got the first tank. So yeah, you can put them inscriptions on for whatever you want. Then yes, confirm. So you've then also got special emblems, as you can see here, which are these, which is the centenary of the first tank here, and that one, and then you also have got that one as well. Centenary of the first tank 3, 2, and 1. So yeah, you can mount those for however long you want. Yeah, because they're quite cool. That actually looks really good on that. I think I might actually customize my Light 6C here with a bit. Or actually, let me choose a tank here, because with the Lanchester Armoured Car you can't actually adjust the exterior. You automatically get this camouflage on it. You automatically get everything here, and I will go over that. Don't worry. Let me just choose a British tank here that I want to actually put things on. I mean, let me have a look at the exterior here. There are space for 2 emblems here. There's enough for 2 inscriptions and 2 emblems, so yeah. Could have that, and then that, perhaps. How does that look? Oh, that looks alright. I do really like this one, though. This is a great one here. Yeah, oh, that just looks so great. And then let's go back to the categories. Let's have a look at inscriptions. Let's put on the first tank, Fear Naught. I don't know, Mark 1 and the first tank, I think. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. Wonderful. Very good. So, there we go. Now you can have a look at the inscriptions and emblems. Sorry about the little tanky thing, but oh well. So you've got those special inscriptions and things. Let me actually just select my British tanks here, and let's get rid of that. So there's all of my British tanks. Oh, the Churchill. Oh, the Churchill. Let's have a look at the exterior here. Well, there's not really much point in doing it for the Churchill there. What else? Doobie-doo. I feel like I should only put it on low tier tanks because those would make sense because they're pre-war and things, pre-World War II at least. So yeah. Maybe put something on here. Why not the Light 6? Because I do quite like the Light 6. Now's the time. Mark 1. Feel like the first tank should go there and then Mark 1 should go on there. Although, now is the time. No, I feel because these are special, World War One special things, then I should have the first tank and Mark 1 because that is, after all, what this special is about. So, I do still have these World of Tanks EU5 things, but I only have one of them left, so I'm not going to put them on anything. To be honest, I do quite like all of these, but I think... no, I think that looks good, yeah. I'm afraid I'm going to overpaste those German flags, unfortunately, but I feel like it's for a good cause. There we go. So, what else? Anything else that I feel? The tthe, just because. Let me have a look here. Fear Naught. Now is the time, or Fear Naught. I feel like those would both be good on this. Although, now I think I'll have Fear Naught on there, and then I'll have Now is the time on there. And then emblems. Should we have special tanks, or should we just have German flags? I feel like I should have special tanks because there are only special things. I suppose I am putting the British things on here. So, I feel like that actually looks good on that. I think I may have that. And then... I mean, I just love things that have this special, like, laurel wreath around it, like this. I think that's good. Spending all my gold here, but never mind. So there we go. There we go. And now let's go with the Lanchester, because why not? And then, yeah, this will be the Lanchester garage review, even though it's been like 20 minutes already. But starting off here, let's look at survivability. So it's a Tier 1 armoured car. Well, it's a Tier 1 elite light tank, technically, which is why you can only put these people in... Well, you can't only put them in light tanks, but you can... But, all you'd have to do is retrain them for a light tank instead of having to train them for a medium tank and then for the tank that they're in. But anyway, so you've got 200 HP, which is a fair amount. It's more than a Tier 2 tank, that's for certain. Let me do that. There we go. So... yeah, it's more than a Tier 2 tank, however the armour is nothing special, 8mm all round. Considering that this is a universal carrier, and this has got 10 at the front, a universal carrier is more well armed than a World War One, a World War One light tank, or a World War One armoured car even, but... So it doesn't have particularly great armour, however you're only going to be seeing Lanchesters, and the Lanchesters does have a gun, which I'm really annoyed about. But because of this sloping here, you can bounce shots because you're going to be firing very quickly on the move. Because this thing can get up to a fair speed. It is, after all, an armoured car. So there is some sloping here, which means that it is effective against light arms fire and shrapnel, which is the whole idea of what it would need to be in World War One. So it has got some sloping here, but nothing particularly great. So the armour's not great, however, it has pretty good hit points, 200 HP. As for mobility, it only weighs 4.67 tons, and you can fit equipment, but of course I haven't. It has got a 60 horsepower engine, which isn't great, however it's not... It doesn't weigh that much, which means that a 12.83 horsepower per ton ratio. World War One, that's actually very good at horsepower per ton ratio, to be honest. it can get up to a very good top speed and reverse speed. It can get up to 82 kilometers an hour with a 40 kilometers per hour reverse speed, which is very good. 42.46 traverse speed, which is very good as well. This thing does come with 100% crew when you get it in your garage, so yeah, there's that. As for concealment, 15. It's not that great, to be honest. I mean, the Light 6 has got 18. Panzer 2 has also got 18. That's got 23. 2D, that's also got an 18. 19, yeah, it's not very well concealed. Nor is it well concealed on the move either, with 11. So it's not very easily concealed because, well, look at this thing. It's not exactly inconspicuous, I think you could say. So yeah, not very good concealment. Only has 270 meters view range as well, which compared to some of the other things here is not very good at all. It also has only got a 96 signal range with signal flags. I am training. Where is he? Here we go. Signal boosting. I am training that on my commander / radio operator. So there we go. But yeah, so it doesn't have very good signal range or view range. As for the firepower, only 9. It's not great, and I'll explain why. Because this is the gun that it gets. It gets a .303 Vickers MG. However, for some reason Wargaming thought, you know what, it's a machine gun. What else has got a machine gun? Oh, the Light 6C. Oh yes, that has a 15mm beta machine gun. Let's turn this into a very slow firing, like regular gun. Because it's only 7.7mm. Which means that it should be firing like this thing. Right? Because this thing, 40 shells in the magazine, .41, shell load time, 18 for a complete magazine loading. Now 27 average pen, 9 average damage. This is what they should have done with this, but they didn't. They made it very accurate with a very good aim time. They gave it 30 average damage with a 15 average penetration, but they gave it a 20 rate of fire rounds per minute. And they didn't put it as a machine gun like this, which is really annoying because this is a .303 Vickers. It should be going rat tat 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 instead of bang, 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 which is what it's doing. Because if it did that, it would be useless. Nobody in World War I would have used a .303 Vickers because it wouldn't be a machine gun. However, it says that it's a Vickers MG, but it doesn't have the Vickers MG. Well, it doesn't even have machine gun stats. Look at this. This is machine gun stats. Highly inaccurate, good aim time, with a very high rate of fire but a long load time because it's a machine gun inside of a tin can. But for some reason on the Lanchester, look at that, that's a Vickers machine gun right there. But they didn't give it Vickers machine gun stats, which is annoying. So it's really annoying how they did that, and I hate that they did that. Because that's the reload time, 2.9 seconds. I mean, that's not machine gun reload time. That's 2-pounder reload time. That's even worse than 2-pounder reload time. That's a 40mm gun. This is a 7.7mm machine gun. It does have very good gun depression, however. Minus 10, 20. That's very good. Aim time 1.92, 2.9 second, 2.9 dispersion. 20.9 rate of fire. I mean, why they did this, I have no idea. But they did it, and you get 20 rounds. And when I first saw the Lanchester, then I was like, oh, it has a machine gun. Why does it only have 200? Why does it only have 200 rounds? I mean, the Light 6C has got a machine gun, and that's got double that. And that's still not particularly high capacity for a machine gun. You could burn through that ammo pretty quick. So why have you only got 200 rounds for a machine gun? Then you open up the gun, and it's not a machine gun at all. It's some cross between a 2-pounder, but a machine gun 2-pounder, which doesn't machine gun. So, why? But let's go over the modules here. So yeah, I've already explained the gun. Here's the turret Lanchester Armoured Car, 8 all round. 70 degrees per second traverse, which is very good. 270 meters signal range, 170 kilograms weight. Here's the engine Lanchester, 20% chance of fire and impact, 250 kilograms weight, 60 horsepower. Here's the suspension, so it's the suspension Lanchester Armoured Car. 7.2 load limit, 40 degrees per second. Their wheels, yeah. Then here's the radio, their signal flags. Doesn't even count as a radio, but they're signal flags. 90 meters signal range, yeah, not very good. The model for the Lanchester is very good because the Lanchester, well, all armoured cars basically in World War One were just road cars that were then taken to be armoured cars. I mean, for example, the Rolls-Royce armoured car. The Rolls-Royce armoured car was a Rolls-Royce regular car, which they just gave armour and sent to the battlefields of World War One. What they did is that they took the Rolls-Royce car, they fitted some armour which would be good against small arms fire and shrapnel. They then put on a turret, stuck a machine gun in it, and sent it to France. That's what they've done here. So the Lanchester, as you can see, there's the crank handle to actually start the engine, because in, the 1900s, all cars were crank engine started, so you would grab the crank and you would actually have to turn the crank in order for the engine to actually start up. So that's what the crank at the front's there for. There's the lights, obviously, because it is, after all, a car, so it does have lights. There's the slits for the driver and things. You've got the turret up the top here with some slight sloping and things. You've got a hatch here for the gunner and things to get into. You've then got the rear doors for the rest of the crew to enter. You've got a spare wheel, 2 spare wheels. You also have various baggage and things. Then you've got the double wide wheels here at the back, which have got chains on it, and anyone that's gone off-road or anything in somewhere muddy know that you put chains on the wheels to help them grip. So the rear wheels, which are the driving wheels, have got chains on them. The front wheels are just the steering wheels, so they don't have chains on them, but the driving wheels do have chains, which means that you've got loads of pixels over here, which is rather difficult to look at. But yes, you've got that, and then you've got these other baggage areas here. And then you've just sort of got a small flat bed here to put things in. But I have mounted things here, but to be honest, nobody's going to use this. If you were going to put anything on here, put on puddings and tea and octane gasoline. That's all I would think of putting on there. However, don't even bother doing that, because if you're lucky, you'll get 15,000 credits, which isn't much. But then again, you don't have to actually pay for repairs. Because this thing is free to repair, and the ammo also is pretty much free to repair, so yeah. But the gun is just so annoying, I hate it. But as for these things, equipment, I don't see why you would actually put any equipment on here. I won't bother going over everything, but basically the one thing that you might want to put is improved vents. That's all you'll want to put. Improved vents and coated optics, that's all you'll want, because you don't need that. Toolbox, actually, you might also want to put on. But you don't want that, you don't want that, you don't want that. So the 3 things that you should mount: improved vents, toolbox, and coated optics. Those are the 3 things that you should mount on this if you're going to put anything. But other than that, I don't see why you would. Then you come to your crew. Yeah, your crew, I'm training signal boosting on the commander/radio operator. Relay, after you've got signal boosting. Call for vengeance, you could do. Situational awareness, go for that. Sixth sense, no, don't bother. Eagle eye, don't bother again. Jack of all trades, you could do. Recon, definitely go with that. Mentor, I don't see the point in your common skills, so you could go brothers in arms. Then you've got your gunner. To be honest, I'm regretting putting that. What you should be putting is snapshot. Snapshot, then that perhaps, then designate target, then armor, then you've got your common skills. Then you've got your driver. Off-road driving is what you'll want. Then you'll want clutch braking. Actually, no, what you should want is smooth ride. Then you want off-road driving. Then you want preventive maintenance, controlled impact. Actually, controlled impact first, because in this game mode there is a lot of ramming going on because it's just so crazy and hectic. But then you've also got clutch braking, and then you've got your common skills there. And then finally your loader. I'm going with Adrenaline Rush because Adrenaline Rush. Then Safe Stowage, Intuition, and then your common skills. So, yeah. To be honest, there is no set way, but what you'll want is things that will help you firing on the move and things for ramming. That's all you'll want on this tank, really. It's not even a tank, it's an armoured car. But so, yeah, there's your Lanchester. There's a basic overview of what's going to be happening. I will obviously follow this up with an actual game of this. Whether or not we win, I don't know. I'll play a couple of games in this and show you the basics. Hopefully I can get into one attack, one defense, so you can see both of them. But if not, then oh So yes, the Lanchester in World War One. I'll thank you for watching, and goodbye.